Good morning to everybody, and thanks for joining us the first day of training camp. I don't have any prepared opening remarks, so I'll just answer any questions you may have as we enter the new season.
You said when we met the last time that you were going to try to find out how young people think and kind of connect more. How did that go? How did that process go?
Yeah, I might have been overstated when I said it, but I enjoyed. I talked to some college football recruiters of the big conferences on how they've dealt with COVID and how they've dealt with these younger players and the differences. And I learned quite a bit that not a lot has changed. They're still competitors. They still want to play. I've read some books. There's lots of things on the internet that we were able to look up and read, but it still comes back to communication, which I think is key. A lot of this it's the Y generation, which I respect. I think when I started in 1990, my first training camp, I would watch managers and coaches talk to players and say, "This is what you're going to do," and then walk away. They didn't really stick back and ask the why. Now today's younger players want to know why. They want to know the reason so they can do it better. So there were some little things that we picked up, but one person I said it's the kids are still the same. The parents have changed, and probably I look at my own mirror. That's probably true too.
Doug, when you did mention the books, I was going to ask you specifically anything you really kind of wanted to hone in on there.
No, it was just again dating myself. I think it was Ronald Reagan. I can't remember. Trust but verify. I trusted my instincts in a lot of different ways, but I did want to verify what I was seeing and thinking. And there was things that came up in those books that I thought we were on the right track. Again, when you go through a season like we did last year, you really don't want to take anything for granted. You want to think differently, and you're always trying to think differently. And I just wanted to verify with myself that we were doing everything we could to give the players the best chance to be themselves. And that's one thing that I truly believe in, is that it's a partnership with the players, whether it's off-ice training or on-ice training or skill development or nutrition, is that if we can give them the tools to be their best, we benefit. They benefit, but we benefit. And I just wanted to make sure that we were doing our job to give them the best opportunity.
Coming off last year, does the feeling feel different? Do the expectations feel different entering the season?
It does feel different, and I think we shared that with the group, that equity is built up over success, and right now we have no equity. The manager, the coach, the players, no one in the organization has equity anymore. We have to regain our trust factor with ourselves, with each other, and it's going to come today. Now, whether some years you walk in and you look at the Vegas line and you're in the top 5 or 6, and we've been there for a number of times, you're expected to win the championship. Right now, we're not in that grouping. Obviously, we all think that we're, in our room, that we're better than people are giving us credit for, but I know for a fact nobody cares what we think, it's what we do. And now we have to get out and do it. So it's, I think expectations are different maybe than they have been in the past, but I expect us to compete at a higher level and be a better all-around team and organization than we were last season.
Doug, what are your expectations for Thomas and Kyrou? Big year for them as they step into a bigger, spotlight.
Yeah, I think that we made an investment in the team's long-term future and their future last year, and it was a year early. And now they're the focal points of our offense. There's no question that Robert's the number one center, and there's no question that Kyrou is in that top grouping of wingers with Bucci. That's just the reality of it. And to have success, your best players have to play their best, and they're going to be relied upon to be those catalysts offensively. But what we see year in, year out, to have 80 or 90 points and be a minus player is not successful for the organization. So I think they can have very good offensive years if it's balanced with a great defensive game, or at least a solid defensive game. I'm not looking for Selkies this year for many of those guys, but we're not looking to be at center ice more often than not for a face-off when we're playing out of our net, not theirs.
You had a lot of veteran guys come in here this year, probably earlier than usual, maybe. You think there's that little bit of that chip on their shoulder with the way things went last year?
Yeah, I'm not a chip on the shoulder. I think that there's an embarrassment factor. I know that I had it all summer. I know that Craig shared it too, and it starts out as anger, then it goes to embarrassment, and then you can't wait for today because you don't have to talk about it anymore after this one. We'll have new issues that we can focus in on and try. But I think the players, I don't want to speak for them, but I think they wanted to get here to make sure we're putting our best foot forward. I'm repeating what Schenner said was complacency. If they felt that, they control making sure that's not going to happen. And I know they. Obviously, he said it because he felt it, and now it's that leadership group of 4 plus everybody to make sure that doesn't creep back into us.
So you literally this summer were embarrassed?
Yeah, I mean I try to be professional, and I have a high standard for the organization. I have a high standard for myself, and I always say when you can see the whites of the commissioner's eyes at the draft, that's not a good thing, and we saw the whites of his eyes.
Thomas in particular, what are the next steps for him to become part of that upper echelon of centers in the league?
It's the 200-foot game. I think Craig's given him a lot of responsibility, taking big face-offs at the end of periods, end of games, playing 5-on-6, 6-on-5, touching every aspect of our game, and being a player that it's a tough task. You're going against Matthews, you're going against Crosby, you're going against Kopitar. Like, his job is not only to play with those guys, but to outcompete them and outperform them, and that's a tough task. And the belief in Robert has never been higher for myself that he's ready for that challenge.
Doug, last year there were times where I felt like the chemistry wasn't all the way there with some of the line combinations. Is that something that can be ironed out in preseason and training camp, or does that require regular season games to get figured out first?
I think it's a combination. I think that when things aren't going good, the natural tendency is to change things up, and the coach wants to. I want to speak for Craig. He changes things up because he wants to see a different result. And the players will quick changing things and we'll get a different results. It's a chicken or the egg. But I think right now we have an idea of pairs. I think the NHL works in pairs myself. It's a centerman and a right or left winger, and then the other guy fluctuates. We've had a lot of success in every team I've been around when you have a good pair. So it's not a line as much as it's a pair, and we got to find those pairs that are going to have that great success. No, it's not. I've talked to him. I've been in touch with the league. Everything is moving forward. Everything is behind us as far as what we're going to do. He understands he made a mistake. I stand by the statement that we made and he made, and we move forward.
So does he have to go to Finland in February? Is that?
I've been told he does not.
Okay, so he's not.
No, if he does. Again, I don't want to be held accountable to the Finnish judicial system, but I've been told now that he does not.
You don't have your law degree then?
I do not. Or a lot of other countries, like all.
Doug, when these guys talked at the end of last year about maybe not coming together as a team, is that something you're going to be looking for to see if that kind of gets galvanized here, especially early in camp?
Well, I don't think that's something actually a coach and manager can really control. That has to be internal by the players. It's like that girl you have a crush on, for me, when, and she didn't like you back, there's nothing you really can do about it. If they can't find chemistry and if they can't find the belief in each other, then that's not something Craig can install in them or I can install in them. That has to come internally. Now, when I say that, what you brought up early, them being here early, them trying to get to know each other. As I said, I know they've done a lot of things together. I've been told that certain players have had golf outings. They've had them over for barbecues. They're trying, and that's where it starts. And I've talked to some of the newer guys that they feel very welcome here, and that's not from what we do. That's from what the players do. So I have a good feeling about the effort to try and become a team again.
Doug, it was mentioned a few times last year that there wasn't a clear, coherent identity of this group. For you, as you look at the personnel that you have, what do you think the identity should be of the 2023 Blues?
I think that's Craig can explain this. It has to be based off work ethic and consistency and pride. That has to be the forefront, at the forefront of everything we do, not only today, but moving forward. You're going to have good things are going to happen to you in a season. It's going to hit the post and go in. The referee is going to give you a call that maybe the other team didn't think, and it's going to work out. But ultimately, you have to have a foundation that you can always rely on. And I think our foundation cracked last year, and now we have to get back and build that back up. It is a new era, and we have to take responsibility for building the foundation and building it back up.
Pretty confident Krug is not going to miss any regular season time.
My understanding, he's doing very well, and yes, I think he'll get actually some exhibition games in now. Not only not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor either, but but I'm hoping that he gets back.
How did it happen? Was it just on ice stuff? Or?
Yeah, it was on ice stuff. Yeah.
Is everybody else coming in here healthy? No?
Skinner got banged up a little bit. I think he's skating today. That's a question mark. But other than that, everyone's ready to go.
And then, just Malmstrom and Jacobs? Or?
Yes, they're long term. We're talking. First one may be back in January, and the other one could be the year.
Who is the first one?
Malmstrom.
Right, and
Yeah.
what does he have?
I have to get it from Ray. Malmstrom had both shoulders operated on, so he did the one, and then you have to wait about 3 weeks so he can function a little bit. Then he did the other one, and Jacobs I think was a knee.
And he's potentially out for the year.
Yeah, those are six monthsers.
Obviously, more will be known after today, but how's Sonny look to you health-wise?
He looks great. Yeah. I was laughing. He's got his hair up on a bun now. He said he's our new Chris Thorburn. But no, he looks great. He's excited. As a big soccer/football fan, he'll be walking on air today with the tie last night for the team and having them move forward. So I think it's really exciting. He's excited to be back, and I can see that. You can see that in his personality.
And you mentioned the personality. Was that an emphasis for you guys this offseason, was to get some more of that into the locker room?
It's a little bit. Again, I'll give you, I love cliches that I find funny. Like Dave Taylor said, well, he's good in the room. He said, well, tell me when they start flooding the room. And so Sonny's got a good personality, but if he can't play on the ice, it really doesn't matter. And we think that he's still at the age where he's got a lot of miles left.
Doug, you've given PTOs a chance here in recent memory, too, and we're rewarded them with contracts. What can we expect from guys like Richie and Radcliffe that are coming in here, trying to prove themselves and looking for a job?
Probably both at a different part of their career. I think Richie's a proven NHL player. He's produced at this league, and for whatever reason, he didn't get a contract, and we said there's an opportunity here. We walked through our if we go to our 7th through 15th forwards and said, this is your competition. He had other opportunities too, so he must have liked the opportunity. We told him we'd guarantee him exhibition games. Ratcliffe's a different situation. He's a little bit younger player, hasn't established himself yet. We gave him the same viewing of our depth chart, and they're both big bodies. They both have attributes that we like if they can max out their potentials.
Do you feel like that's a strength for your team this year, Doug, is the depth?
We do have a lot. We have a lot of competition, and that's one of the things that I said when I started. We talked about yesterday is that equity's been used. So we have competition to make the team. We have competition where you're going to play on the team, and that goes up the lineup too. So because you were a top 6 player or asked to do this in the past, you have to re-earn that. And I have a ton of confidence. But I think competition is, again, when you have an unsuccessful season and you come back in and you don't think there's competition, then that's certainly not going to change. So there is competition from every part of our group right now.
How did you look at Bennington's season last year, and what do you expect from this year?
I would say that I don't want to protect Benner, but I also think we didn't protect Benner. So his numbers weren't to the caliber that he needs them to, but I don't think that we gave him the opportunity to have those numbers at that caliber. When you look at some of the underlying analytics, we were not effective defensively, not effective in the scoring areas, and so if you're giving up grade A first chances and then grade A second chances, your numbers aren't going to look good. with that being said, he obviously had the situation against Minnesota that he's learned from and that we've learned from. And if we're better in front of Binner, I have the utmost confidence that his numbers will get back to reflecting a guy that is certainly in the top half of the league.
He seems to be better when he's pushed by his partner, I guess, and vice versa. I feel like Joel Hofer is ready to step into that role and be a viable partner with him there.
We're hoping. I mean, when you look at Joel, he's done everything you can do to get to this point, but now he's with the big boys. You know, it's not the American Hockey League. It's not junior hockey. It's not World Junior Hockey. So we told him we gave him a one-way contract. We've given him a two-year contract. We believe in him, but as I said earlier, belief is something that I have. It has to be proven on the ice. But I think he and our staff believe he's ready to take that next step, and that's the competition. Subban says, yeah, I'm sure he's ready, but we're going to see if he's better than me, and that's what we want to see.
Any takeaways from last weekend in Minnesota?
Yeah, that Bedard's pretty good. that was, and it's funny. You, as a manager, I was able to watch him at the World Junior, and you see the stats, and you're hoping that things go your way, and then they don't, and you're going, well, you know what? He's a little undersized. You know, it might not be that great, and then he's a heck of a hockey player, and we're going to have our hands full for a number of years with him. But internally, I thought Kessel was very good. I thought Loof was very good. They showed physical elements to their game. We saw the skill of Bolduc and Dean at different times setting up and participating on a really nice goal. There was some real good things in the first game, some things we need to clean up in the second game, and that's why we play those two games. We want to get them accustomed to a different level of hockey. Now they're going to see a different level of hockey today, and then as they get in these exhibition games. So I thought it was our first year doing something different. We've gone to Traverse City for a number of years before, and we played 4 games. And I thought at the end, when I look back, we were doing a little bit of a disservice. We were asking a lot of guys that play 4 games in 5 days and then have energy and juice to come here to training camp, and we weren't giving them the best opportunity to have success. So we scaled that back to play these 2 games. And I think the guys got back here, they got rest. So I think we're going to see the best of what they have today and moving forward. And with young players too, they're entering game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals today, and the other guys are entering game 1 of training camp. And so water finds its level as camp goes on. But I'm expecting to see good things out of these young guys today, because this is, quite honest, for some of these guys, this is the most important day of their careers. Okay, thanks everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Armin. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.